What's up guys, Nolan here, and today we're looking at why you die in Escape from Tarkov. I've been playing EFT since alpha, and through my friend groups have personally gotten over 40 people into EFT and have had to teach almost all of them these basics. The first thing I make sure people understand is that EFT is not meant to be easy. It is one of the most difficult, hardcore, realistic shooters ever made, and the devs are making it to actually own that title. They do not care about fairness or fun, and they really don't care about casual play at all. The players that understand that push past it, and they end up enjoying Tarkov. The information hub I'll be using in today's video is the EFT wiki through Gamepedia. The link will be at the top of the description. My process for teaching EFT is broken down into 3 tiers: map knowledge, meds and equipment, and combat skills. Each of these tiers will be briefly defined, but if you have more questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and I might even remake the video if it's a good enough point. First things first is map knowledge. You can kill the world's population 3 times over on any of the maps, but if you don't know how to get back to your hideout alive, it's all for nothing. When you load in, be sure to double tap O to see your extraction points, which differ on every map depending on where you spawn on that map. Use the link in the description for the EFT wiki provided to find all the info you need for each map in terms of extraction points. And there's also plenty of video guides explaining this in detail. Medical treatment. Now that you know how to leave the raid with your loot, you need to be able to survive the trip. This tier includes how you equip yourself before going into a raid, and more importantly, how to treat yourself when you're actually in that raid. There are 3 basic medical threats you need to be aware of from the beginning: bleeds, fractures, and overall health. A bleed can be stopped by anything that stops blood loss, with the basic remedy being a bandage. A fracture will cause pain that affects your vision, and if not treated, will cause overall health and blood loss. The basic treatment is a splint to the affected body part and a painkiller. The last is overall health, where the effective treatment is a med kit to bring the affected body part back to full health. However, if that body part is at 0, or aka blacked out, you will need a surgery kit to bring it back. All of these remedies have a limit, however. Be sure to pay attention to what you have left by looking at the number on the icon of the item. If there is no number, then it is a one-time use item. An honorable mention would be dehydration, where if your stomach goes black, you will rapidly lose hydration and soon your overall health will go to 0. The basic remedy would be to hopefully bring a drink with you and use it, or find a drink in raid and then drink it. Or just don't get shot in the stomach. EFT gets more in depth than this, but the majority of deaths you get will be mainly caused by one of these injuries. So if you master these, you're well on your way to mastering EFT. Also, luckily for Tarkov raiders, we get something that not a whole lot of other survival game players get, which is our protected pouch. So whatever edition you have, you'll have enough space to efficiently hold enough life-saving tools to get you through that raid. What I suggest is you bring 1 splint, 2 AI2 medkits, otherwise known as cheeses, and a 4-use painkiller in that pouch at the absolute minimum. Scale as needed. This may also be an unpopular opinion, but I will always tell my new players to ensure everything and ditch your gear when you kill a sufficiently geared enemy. What I mean by that is that if you kill an enemy with about the same level gear you have or better, discard your gear in a bush or in water where players can't find or get to them, and then just run the raid with your looted gear. You'll almost always get that gear back, effectively doubling your raid net worth if you survive, or make it at least a free run if you don't. The devs literally design EFT not to be fun. They design it to make a normal player die more than they survive. When everything wants to kill you, it makes it pretty easy to do that. The basic steps of combat, however, is where you can begin to turn the tides on the devs there in that respect. First things first, always bring a firearm. 1 bullet can change your raid, and 1 raid can change your life in Tarkov. If you can't shoot that bullet, then you can't change your life. In order to see what kind of ammunition your gun uses, be sure to inspect it and look at the bottom left corner where it tells you the caliber, and that number is what you're looking for. Whatever firearm you decide to bring, there is an insanely difficult world of ammunition to go along with it, but however, another possible unpopular opinion, I'll tell you guys what you should be bringing at these early stages. So with the list shown, we've got the 9x18s, you should use the PM PST GZH. For the 9x19s, you should use the PST GZH. For the 12 gauge shotguns, you should use the 7mm buck. For the 20 gauge shotguns, you should use the 7.5mm buck. And for the 5.45 AKs, you should be using the T rounds with the 7.62 AKs. And my personal favorite here, you should use the PS rounds. So the weapon of choice is personal preference, but you can't go wrong with a shotgun, whether it be the 12 or 20 gauges. The 7.62 AKs with the PS rounds can bring you all the way through Tarkov and is my weapon or caliber of choice for beginning players. All you need to do is you need to get to level 5 so that you'll be able to access the flea market, and then you'll be able to buy both from other players through the player-driven economy. Now, if you don't see the ammo type of the gun that you would like to use, it's because you actually shouldn't be using that gun if you felt the need to search for this video. And it's most likely a major contributing factor to why you search for this video and are watching it right now. So switch that gun and use one of these caliber guns as soon as possible. Last but most certainly not least is your actual combat basics, which are only considered after you completely understand the previous points that I've given for reasons given in each of the points explanations. So if you don't understand those, please go back And if I didn't explain them well enough, please feel free to leave a comment. I might even remake the video, or at least I'll talk to you in the comments. Now, the combat basic breakdown is in these 3 tiers as well. Weapon system, target acquisition, and target elimination. The first 2 tiers here really go together, but they are 2 separate things really, so I'll break them up. The most important thing to combat basics is your weapon. Think about the capabilities of your weapon first and foremost. Even though you've been maimed from 100 meters away by a scav screaming dicky needles, shlogile, or whatever the hell they might be yelling at that point, with a shotgun 100 times, doesn't mean you should blast away at everything that breathes when you are using your supposed destroyer of worlds. Understand the weapon that you've brought to the fight as much as you can before using it. Scav runs help the best with this because learning the basic weapons can't get any better when you just get handed a free one, so use your scavs as much as possible. That brings us to target acquisition, which all depends on the situation, mainly who sees who first. If you have the drop on your target, or if you've had the unpleasant luck of strolling into an ambush. If you see your target first, make sure you make the coming fight as unfair as possible in your favor before you start slinging rounds. This will always require movement, whether you move closer to your target with your pistol for the headshot, or just up another tree to give you a better view of your target and more time to engage it if it goes south. But of course, if this fight came as a surprise to you, which a lot of times it will, movement is always the answer. Do not stay where you are and get to hard cover, or just as far away from the position as you can. Once you think you're safe and have sufficient security, then assess your health, patch yourself up, and depending on your status, either move to an exit or try to re-engage. Now, when you have your target where you want, in whatever situation this might be, the best solution is always the headshot, no matter what. If you felt the need to watch this video, then you shouldn't be worried about anything other than headshots. Always shoot for the head, and the vast majority of the targets, when you hit them, will go down. The reason I say don't worry about anything else is because if you felt the need to watch this video, then the guy that doesn't go down from a headshot has already killed you before you can even say, Opa! And if they haven't, then you need to get the hell out of there as soon as possible and try your best to stay away from that person. The most common reaction to this situation is the dead player screaming hacker on Reddit, while the constant, especially nowadays, is actually just the player they tried to kill had an advanced armored helmet or face mask or face shield and or desync. Which brings me to my final point of making sure you guys understand the game is not supposed to be easy. Far from it. Everything that is meant to be in this game wants to kill you, and almost everything that is not meant to be in this game really wants to kill you. That includes desync and bugs, which don't happen nearly as often as they used to, and despite what the crybabies on Reddit say, happen less and less as the development of EFT goes on. The best thing you can do from every death in Tarkov is look at the situation, learn from it, think about what you did wrong, and think about what you could have done differently. Gear up and head back out, because you sure as hell aren't going to learn anything from sitting in your hideout all day. For more information and in-depth tutorials, be sure to leave a like on this video and let me know in the comments what you think, because it took a long time to make, and if nobody cares, then I'll just go ahead and stop making them. Otherwise, I hope you learned something, and I hope you're a better Escape from Tarkov player because of it, and I also hope you have a nice day. See you guys.